Hello everyone and welcome to the very first JaianMusic Q&A episode. I'm starting this new series because currently I'm in France working on my internship and I still want to put out videos for you guys. So every week I'm going to be putting out a Q&A episode where I get to interact with all of you guys and you ask me questions and I answer them. So I'm very excited to start this journey with all of you. The very first question here comes from Frances Marie Fairs and she asks, I love you to talk about your inspirations for getting into music and how you make your own music, like using synths or instruments, please. So, my inspirations for getting me into music. A lot of different things inspire me. I listen to music a lot, so different artists inspire me. There's this band called Your Favorite Martian, which was Ray William Johnson's old music project that he's no longer doing. And their music and the way they arranged their stuff really inspired me for my rap music. And then I listen to other types of music as well. And I always try to bring in a new element into my music projects because of those other projects I've listened to. Another person that really inspires me for getting into music was Eminem, specifically for getting into hip-hop music. I did music before hip-hop music, but none of that music was quite good, and I really felt like I only really began to make good music when I started doing rap music. And so my biggest inspiration for getting into music is Eminem in that sense, because Eminem is just... I think he's the rap god. I mean, he said it in a song, and I really feel that way because his music is so amazing. He controls the English language and bends words and does whatever he wants. And he has such a huge skill set that for someone like me, that's a huge inspiration. I want to be just like him, and I just want to reach for the stars and succeed like he does. It's a lot to do, but I really feel like I can do it as long as I put my mind to it. Another thing that really inspired me for getting into music is the freedom you have inside of music. There are so many things you can do with music, there's no limits. There really aren't any limits. The only limit I think you have for getting into music, for your inspiration, is yourself. The only limit you're going to have is yourself. The reason being is because you yourself is the only person who's going to be like, okay, that's enough, okay? And that's something I try to do the least of. I always want to go out there as much as possible and just go crazy with music, because music at the end of the day is art, and art is expressing yourself, and I do that throughout every single one of my songs. Another thing that really inspired me for getting into music is my surroundings and my friends and bands that I've seen on live TV. Basically, my surroundings really influenced me a lot, because at the age of 13, my friend Jeremy showed me that he could play guitar, and that made us start jamming together. And then I started the YouTube channel, JaianMusic YouTube channel, where we would do Jeremy and Jaian jamming in the basement. And then from there, I branched out into hip-hop music much later on. But I was really into music from the beginning because it was expressing yourself, it was freedom, it was fun. I wrote my own lyrics, and I had 100% control over everything: the melody, the music, the instruments, the lyrics, the songs, everything. I had complete control, and that's what I love having when it comes to my art. I love having control of it and just do whatever I want with it, and people listen to it and then they really enjoy it, so which is really cool. So how do I make my own music? The DAW I use, which DAW stands for Digital Audio Workstation, is Mixcraft Pro Studio 7, and that is the best DAW I've ever used in my entire life, to be quite honest. In my music industry arts program, we use Pro Tools, but I just feel so much more comfortable with Mixcraft, and there's a lot of variety within Mixcraft. When it comes to my synths, I use the stock VSTs inside of Mixcraft. A VST stands for Virtual Studio Technology, and these are basically virtual instruments. Mixcraft has great MIDI instruments and these different pads, basses, and arpeggiators, and you can modify them and play with them. And once again, be really free with this, with all of these different ways you can manipulate the audio. I also use two different plugins within Mixcraft that I bought on the side. These are third-party plugins, so they don't come with Mixcraft, but I use them because I absolutely love them. The very first one is Absinthe 5. One of my teachers showed it to us one day in class, and my mind was absolutely blown, and I got home that night, I looked it up, I looked at all the tutorials, I read reviews about it, and Absinthe 5 is amazing for sound design specifically, but it also has this really trippy, weird drums and synths and soundscapes. It's such a wacky, crazy, but fun plugin. Whenever I use Absinthe 5, I really lose myself in the music because Absinthe 5 is really amazing. Absinthe 5 is just great. Another VST I use for synths is Nexus 2 to be specific. Nexus is absolutely amazing. I looked it up, and my friends who use synth in their songs too use Nexus as well. Nexus is amazing because it has a huge library of different pads arpeggiators, basses, sound effects, and textures that you can use. 70% of the time I use Nexus for my synths, and then the other 30% of the time it's either with Absinthe or the stock plugins within a Mixcraft. I'm always experimenting with my music. I'm always trying wacky stuff, and my friends are always going like, no, don't do that. Don't try that. It's crazy. But you know what? Try it, and if it works out, you really created a sound that no one's ever tried before, or not many people have tried before, and you're gonna stand out even more because of that attempt. And so when you're in the studio and looking for your sound, this is really your time to mess around with everything, and that's what I did with my studio time at Algonquin. I did so many different things. I played with the outboard gear, I played with the plugins within Pro Tools, and I had such a good time with that. I really love experimenting. Usually for my synths and my songs, I have a pad, an arpeggiator, and a bass. Those are kind of the usual synths I use in my songs. I really a pad just to like give a nice feel. The arpeggiator really fills in the notes, and then the bass is really there to just give a nice bottom end and just to complete the pad in the arpeggiator. And I play a lot with it, and I have a really good time with that. So yeah, you combine those three synths together, and there's even more options. That's usually what I go for, just for a standard like verse or chorus or riff or anything like that. For my drums, I use the VSTs within Mixcraft again. There's a sampler that's really cool in there. I use that once in a while, and I also use the drum kits that they have there. But I won't just stick to one drum kit. I'll take the snare from this drum kit, the kick from this drum kit, the hi-hat from this drum kit, and I'll just make something wacky, and I'll play with the panning, I'll play with the EQing, the compression, all of those different elements that, once again, manipulate audio. That's what I really enjoy with Mixcraft, because there's so many options. For the piano as well, I also use stock VSTs. So it could be the Pianissimo VST that's in Mixcraft, or it can be the Nexus stuff too. So I really just play around with that and just get the best sound, because every song is project dependent. Every song is going to be different from the other. I never use the same settings for my plugins. Like plugins come with presets. My compressor comes with different presets. There's a vocal compressor. There's going to be a kick drum compressor. I never stick to the preset. I select the preset usually, and then I'll just play with the attack, the release, the threshold, all of these different elements that manipulate the audio. So that really covers everything in terms of what I use for my synths and my instruments. Another thing I use for guitars, actually, I just want to finish with this. For guitars, I use Guitar Rig 5. It's amazing. There's absolutely nothing better than Guitar Rig 5 that I found for guitar editing and mixing and all that stuff. There are so many effects in there, and there are so many different presets that you can play around with, and so many different elements within Guitar Rig 5. Definitely worth to check out. That's really what I use for my instruments. All right, guys. So thank you so much for this very first episode of the JaianMusic Q&A. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys want to ask me a question and want to see me answer it, please comment in the video here. And also, make sure to like me on Facebook, facebook.com/JaianMusicBand. You can also follow me on Twitter @TweetMeJaian. All of that is going to be in the description, and JaianMusic.com is my website. Make sure to subscribe as well. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day, and I will see you in the next episode next week. Bye.